I'm standing here on the shores of Chabaco Lake, home of Gordon Rowing. A couple years ago, none of this was here. It's all due to one Gordon College student, Maddie Hopkins. I spoke with Maddie Hopkins earlier to discuss Gordon College rowing.
So when I got here in 2014, I was a freshman, and I was not planning on rowing until I went to the Head of the Charles my freshman year and broke down in tears because I wasn't racing. But I'd found another girl who knew how to row and was from a club team in California, and she was like, you know, we should try to start a team. And I started thinking about how I could think creatively about the finances and the practical parts of starting a team on Gordon's campus and maybe make it part of that project. So technically speaking, it started as a class project.
I asked Coach Hopkins what some of the biggest challenges were in creating the rowing team at Gordon.
Selling the vision and selling like the story of why we needed a team at Gordon was probably the most challenging part. Because you're also talking to John, and I'm really curious what he's going to say to this.
So my beginning with Maddie Hopkins was a rough one because I just have to keep putting out fires because she's such a go-getter that she would start things and then people would say, I don't know what to do with this.
He had a whiteboard on the wall that was one of those like folding ones, and he opened it up, and on it was a list of the sports that they wished that they'd had at Gordon but didn't have any resources to make happen, and rowing was on the list.
Maddie gets all the credit for, as a student, pushing it as a club. And although it was a hassle because I didn't feel like we had enough money to run the programs I was already in charge of, so I didn't want to take over a new club. But there was something about it I liked. It was certainly unique to Gordon College. I could see how there was a strong recruiting angle that if we really did this well, we could bring more students into Gordon College and into athletics. And it was a space that I thought, as a Christian college, I didn't know of too many other Christian colleges that had rowing as a sport.
The red flags just kept coming and coming and coming, but it wasn't like he was any less receptive. It was just, from an athletic standpoint, it was a huge undertaking.
What may look like just two small docks is the home of hundreds of rowers and hundreds of rowers to come.
But there were a bunch of key players, like so Emily and Dan Faber were both swimmers. They were a huge contributing force.
I spoke with some of the original members about their experiences with Gordon rowing.
We also helped initiate the very first rowing coach, which was exciting. And I think that between Maddie, Danielle, Eric, and I and Katie, there was a lot of emotional support that was involved during that very first season and a lot of team bonding.
I didn't play a super active role in that. I was definitely helped a lot by everyone else on the team. We had a really small group of people. Maddie managed to raise a huge amount of money and get us in boats and on the water.
The logistics and all of the things that have to happen to physically make the team a success, whether it's getting the boats or getting a truck or finding water to row on.
If you give them the tools and you give students what they need to succeed, they will, because they've already won the mental game, and that's so much of this sport.
I find the rowers to be very determined. I find them to be good students. I haven't had any discipline problems with the rowing program.
This sport is all about sacrifice, and Christians are uniquely equipped to understand that. And I will go to my grave saying that Christians are in a unique position to understand this sport better than other people.
Rowing team, student athletes, have owned it. And so they do the maintenance work, they do the fixing of the boats, they do a lot of the programmatic stuff.
I asked what Gordon rowing had meant to these individuals.
I definitely think it was super influential for the community that I had at Gordon.
If it wasn't for Gordon rowing, I probably would have transferred out, almost 100%.
And to stand on the banks of the river and watch all the boats go by, which certainly was nice, but see Gordon go by, it was just a proud moment to say, you know what, this started from a club that basically wouldn't have happened to now a varsity program, and then of course we started building accolades for winning races and and so on and so forth. And because you're so successful, the program has done so well, we get notoriety in marketing and PR in areas that we never would have gotten before.
It's a calm, peaceful night on Chabaco Lake. In just a couple hours, Gordon College rowing will be out here at sunrise. Reporting for Com 101, I'm Stephen Kalin.